G'day mates, in today's video I'm going to kick off with the exciting news that the solo and trio late game cash cups have been announced for this weekend. The prize pool is looking ridiculous and I think finally they aren't going to get cancelled. I also want to talk about the insane glitch the new Siphon perk brought to the game and why they had to disable it the first day of the new update. This is one of the weirdest bugs I have ever seen. I also want to talk about the new PlayStation Cup that just got announced with a crazy new game mode they're testing out in a tournament for over $200,000. There's a lot to talk about. Let's just jump into it. Let's kick off with the big news that the late game trio and solo cash cups for this season have been announced. They're taking place on Sundays and Mondays, and they're going to be starting this Sunday. We have the prize pool announced as well, and it's pretty stacked. At least for EU, solos, first place is going to get $3,000, top 30 is going to make $150, and then on trios, first place is going to get $9,000 as a trio, $3,000 each, and then top 10 is going to get $900. So it's actually a pretty stacked prize pool. Honestly, more stacked than what I thought it was going to be. Let's just hope this time it doesn't get canceled. And honestly, I don't think it will this time. And I know that's crazy after they've been announced and canceled what feels like 50 times at this point. They have now ran an evaluation cup and quick cups, and both of them, as far as I'm aware, scored properly. And that's the reason why these keep getting canceled. They're having issues scoring them. So as long as they're scoring the quick cups, it seems to be like there'd be no reason why they can't score the cash cups. Fingers crossed, I hope. But they are going to be running Sundays and Mondays. Now, I'm a little bit confused why they have the late game trio cash cups on a Sunday, because we already have the solo cash cup finals on that day. It is just making the schedule so jam-packed, and I never thought I would be worried about too many tournaments, but for some of these pros who are going to play in the solo late game cash cup, then they're going to play both rounds of the qualifier and the finals of the trio cash cup. They're pretty much playing 9 hours of tournaments straight with zero break. These tournaments run back to back to back. It's going to be crazy content for me watching. Again, twitch.tv/Aussie Antics. If you guys don't know, I do viewing parties there all the time. I watch all these tournaments live. It's going to be pretty crazy to watch, but our schedule right now is getting packed. I would really hope they would just move these to another day like a Thursday, but I think that's because we have FNCS starting on a Thursday in just under 2 weeks. Yes, FNCS is kicking off in just under 2 weeks on February 2nd. The late game solo cash cup being on a Monday is going to be great because there's no really other tournaments on a Monday except for the one that's rescheduled this week because it got voided. I know it's all confusing. If you don't know when tournaments are on, I highly recommend just opening up Fortnite tracker or going in game, because it is way too hard to cover all of these tournaments on which days and which times because they are absolutely stacked. I know I'm a day late on this one, but I wanted to talk about it because it was a hilarious bug and it would explain to a lot of you guys who maybe missed it why the shotgun siphon perk was disabled. So in the most recent update, they added 4 new perks to the game, and honestly, the one I was most concerned about was the shotgun siphon perk. I wasn't sure if it was going to do a massive percentage. Like, let's say you hit a 190 shotgun shot, are you going to get 100 health or shield back, or even crazier, the full 190? Turns out that's not the case, but I was also worried that maybe if, you know, you hit a 2 damage 1 pellet shot from a distance, are you going to gain like a flat 50 amount back every time? Our questions were answered, and it was very easy to test how much shotgun siphon was actually going to give. It gives about 20 to 30 depending on the rarity of your shotgun if you hit every single pellet, but unfortunately it was giving siphon off teammates. So I'm gonna show you a clip of me doing a viewing party of the tournament when I realized how this perk was working. Have they both got the perk so they can both heal each other? Leshy's literally healing off Swilliam. Is Swilliam gonna do it to him? Swilliam, don't die. He's healing himself by shooting Leshy. Oh my god, this is so bad. No, they have to get rid of this right now. They have to. If you can't quite tell what's going on there, Swilliam and Leshy both have the shotgun siphon perk. So as long as they have shotgun ammo, they can infinitely heal health and shield off each other. You could actually sit in a 10-tick zone and do this until you got storm sickness and you would survive. And as soon as we figured this out, it was absurdly broken. Everyone was picking up this perk. You had teams going into endgame with 24 splashes because all they were doing to heal each other was just shotgunning. And if you guys didn't know, they've now made it so that in tournaments, all of the augments that are are meant to be in competitive are automatically unlocked. You don't have to unlock them in arena and pubs. If you want to use them in arena and pubs, you have to unlock them. But in tournaments, they're automatically unlocked so that no accounts have an advantage by having less or more perks. So a lot of people were getting this perk and it was kind of hilarious. It was scary how long it actually took Epic to disable it. The entire EU tournament, all 3.5 hours of it, ran with this bug in the game, and it obviously was game breaking until they disabled it before the NA East tournament works, and we have yet to see the augment come back, which means we now have glider redeploy, we now have this augment disabled, and we still have the balloons disabled. So we have 3 major augments that are disabled. So Epic's having some major issues. If you guys don't know right now, there is a growing kind of sentiment in the scene of we are playing one giant bug. There honestly is, I would say, at least 40 to 50 game breaking bugs in the game right now. There is a new one that, if you guys have noticed, your cursor randomly flicks to the complete opposite side of the universe. That is not your mouse, that is not your controller. You are having no hardware issues. That is just a new bug on top of all of the existing bugs. As far as how the rest of the perks are playing out, I actually really like the other 3 perks that are in competitive. If you guys missed out, it is the Peely's Plunder, which is basically a treasure map. It gives 200 gold, some meds, it gives 3 weapons of gold or purple rarity. It seems to have a priority towards giving like DMRs and the SMGs no one really wants, so it's a little bit riskier, but with the 200 guaranteed gold to reroll your later augments, I do think it's worth it if you have the time in early game. We also have the perk where if you get cracked, if your shield goes below 0, you then are going to be getting regen to your white health, and you get a pepper effect, which is really, really good for W King or playing in like no builds, especially in competitive. Quite often if you get cracked, you're going to base up anyway, but having it instantly heal your white health is really, really nice. It does work in Storm too, so late game in rotating zones, it does give you that extra bit of breathing room. And then honestly, my favorite one, that whenever you crack an opponent's shield, you get the 0 point effect, makes W King and just making really interesting fights. A lot of people aren't used to versing the 0 point effect. And also, if you get free tags on someone, like let's say you crack someone in a base ahead of you, you don't have a hammer, you can just 0 point and now chase them down and play a lot more aggressive, which I found really quite fun. So outside of the broken shotgun Siphon perk, I really like these perks in the game, and I'm honestly on board for Epic adding more and more perks in the future. I also wanted to clear up a glitch right now that has a lot of people confused. I keep seeing it in my comments and a lot of people posting about it, like, oh, the chug cannon perk is, you know, disabled in competitive, but I just unlocked it. Or Aussie, you just said this perk isn't in competitive and I just got it in a tournament. If it's the game that you unlock the perk, you can get it in competitive even if you're not supposed to. And despite the fact that you have all perks automatically unlocked in competitive, it still looks like there's a chance this happens. So in case you get a perk you're not supposed to, you're not going to get banned for using it. It is just a glitch on Epic's end, but I would go off the information I or other creators give you. If it's disabled in comp and you get it anyway, it's just going to be a once-off and you'll never get that perk again in competitive. The January PlayStation Cup just got announced with the $230,000 prize pool. Again, if you're on Xbox, I'm sorry, this is another PlayStation only tournament. Qualifier 1 is going to be on January 20th. It's going to be regular Battle Royale solos. January 21st is going to be Wild Storm solos, which they've said is a new game mode, but apparently from talking in my chat, they've used this in the PlayStation Cups before. It's kind of like a blitz mode, but different. You just have way faster zones and the zones move differently to regular games. And then they're going to have regular Battle Royale solos for the finals on January 22nd. And obviously top 50 are going to qual from round 1 and round 2 to then go on to the grand finals. It is a little bit interesting to see they're picking solos again. I don't know if you guys have seen any of the content going around. The PlayStation solo events just seem to be a giant teaming fest. Like, it is honestly almost laughable how crazy the teaming is. I'm not talking like maybe you think they might be in a call and they're choosing not to fight. I'm talking, I've seen clips of teams literally splitting their mats together in a box and then rotating together, or literally driving to a random POI across the map to pick up a teammate in their car, drive, and then get out in solos. So I have zero clue why Fortnite or Sony keeps deciding to make these tournament solos, but hey, at least it should be some pretty funny content. All right, guys, that does it for another video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please chuck a like on it, subscribe to the channel down below, and I'll see you in the next one.